Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk. I'm your host, Cameron Staley, and today we've got small school predictions for the week of February 2nd, if we want to count from Sunday. So let's go ahead and get into it. I will be at Richmond versus Lafayette County tonight in Richmond, obviously. That'll be the only thing for Wednesday. I'm going to take the night off Wednesday night because there's not really anything going on around the state, so instead of chasing some below 500 teams, I'm going to relax and recharge because I've been out almost every single night the past 2 weeks. And then I'll be back out Thursday night, Centralia wrestling their senior night before I go into work that night. So that'll be an interesting turnaround. And Friday night, I'm not certain where I will be. I'll be doing a vote on Instagram, so stay tuned for that. So Class 1 scoreboard from this past week. As you can see, there's 3 games on this scoreboard that don't have scores. I'm not very happy about it. I got those games from Misha. They were shown there. So this was just athletic director error from 1 or 2 of each school. None of these games ended up happening, whether they were non-existent or they just had the date wrong or what, but we only had 3 games from Class 1 this week. I want to say I went 12-3. I got Atlanta wrong. They lose to Marion County. That's a really good win for Marion County. They're sitting at 14-5 this season. 70-57 is the final there. Bramer, they get it done 66-54 against Plattsburgh. This is a really good win for Bramer. They're turning it around. They're 10-7. They're going to look really solid coming up. Now, like I said in this past video, they have Jordan Haley back. Hardin Central loses at home to Hale 62-45. Hardin Central kind of on a little bit of a slide. They're 9-9. Hale is looking solid 16-3. So let's go ahead to Class 2 from this past week. I've got all 6 here. I've got all 6 on the Class 3 board as well. So Class 1 was the only place that I had issues this week. South Pemiscot, what a win against Cooter, 91-48. They're sitting at 11-5 this season. Schuyler County, they win against Scotland County, who is on a slide. They're sitting at 8-10 now. They're looking a lot better than that. I think it's 4 straight losses for the Tigers. Not a good thing. 62-56 is the final. Campbell beats Sinneth Hornersville 73-63. Campbell is 16-2. Crane beats Purdy 77-68. Crane sitting at 15-4. Purdy drops to 12-8. Putnam County, they lose at home to Green City. Green City, as I told you guys, is my Class 1 state championship pick. They're tied for second place in Class 1 in the polls with Brunswick. Brunswick's a really good basketball team. If you guys got to see that video, the highlights from the Slater Wildcat Classic, they ended up winning the championship over Slater. Something I want to point out from that tournament, Brunswick was the 1 seed in the tournament. They got first place. Slater was the 2nd seed in the tournament. They got 2nd place. Glasgow was the 3rd seed in the tournament. They got 3rd place. Pilot Grove was the 4th seed, and they got 4th place. So I like how that ended up turning out. I think that's pretty funny that the seeding was actually 100% correct for the winners bracket at least. So I had fun. I had fun seeing that go down. But Green City, they're 17-0 now. 67-54 is the final there. I'm really liking the Gophers this year. Puxico beats Richland in a really big game. Richland top 10 in Class 1. Puxico top 10 in Class 2. Puxico wins 61-55, sitting at 18-1 this season. Class 3 scoreboard, Thayer, they beat Licking 61-37. I think I made this my Class 3 game of the week, and it ends up not being close. I really thought it was going to be a little bit more competitive. Twin Rivers loses 69-31 at home against East Prairie. East Prairie is 15-3. West County beats Park Hills Central at home. I don't know. That one kind of surprised me a little bit. That was one of the ones I got wrong. Clark County loses at home to Monroe City 53-51. This was closer than I thought. Monroe City probably should have won by more than 2 points. It is what it is there. They're 14-3 now. Dixon beats Crocker 68-41. I believe that was last Monday. No, not last Monday. Shoot, I'm blanking on what day that was. Don't mind me. Lexington and Knob Noster was the game I was at last night. I had a good time at this. Shout out to Demario Moss. 2,000 career points. First ever player on the channel to at least achieve 2,000 career points in the video. I don't know if I've ever had a 2,000 career point player on the channel at all. Like, that's an insane achievement. Hardly anybody's done that. Like, 1,000 is common. You're going to have multiple players, maybe only 2 in each like senior class go through. If you got a good basketball team, obviously, like 1,000 is really important for a lot of people, and it's a big thing. 2,000, that's crazy. That's insane. So congratulations to Mr. Moss. But let's go ahead with this week's predictions, what you guys are here for. The Class 1 scoreboard is on your screen. Halfway versus Wheatland is where we will start. We've got 2 games tonight in the Class 1 board. Those are the top 2 that you see. Brunswick and Higbee is the other one. The middle 2 games, those are on Thursday. And then the bottom 2 games are on Friday. So Halfway and Wheatland. I think Wheatland wins this one on the road. They're 6th in Class 1, scoring 59.4 points per game, allowing 42.8. Brunswick and Higbee is our Class 1 game of the week. This one's going to be really big. I think Brunswick is going to be able to get this one done at home. They're tied for 2nd in Class 1. I personally believe they're number 3. They are 72.4 points per game, only allowing 38.2. They have the best defense I've seen so far this season in person. Prairie Home versus Russellville. Prairie Home, I don't want to say they get this one done easily because Russellville has shown that they're a really solid team this year, 12-6. But I think the Panthers will win. They're receiving votes in Class 1. They're scoring 70.4 points per game and allowing 55.1. So I think if they can score at a high volume against the Indians, they will win. Richland, Essex versus Risco. Risco's a good basketball team. They play with a really nice pace. I think they'll win this one on the road. They're 4th in Class 1. I believe Richland is 8th, if I'm not wrong there. Risco's scoring 75.2 points per game to go along with what I said about them playing at a crazy pace, allowing 52.2 points per game. You want that just a little bit lower. I'm not too worried about it, though. Risco's a really good basketball team. I think they win it. Chadwick, they're playing Hartville. Big thing about Hartville is that they hold the ball. Chadwick is the number 1 team in Class 1. I don't know how this one's going to go. This one goes back to when I predicted Hartville versus Norwood. Norwood was a team. Norwood was actually number 1 in Class 2. I believe we'll talk about them in the next scoreboard. I think Chadwick will be able to work around Hartville's antics. They are scoring 61.5 points per game, and they're only allowing 40.8 themselves. So I believe Hartville's line is at 38 points allowed per game. So both of them have, I don't know, I almost said both of them have good defense. I don't really know if Hartville has good defense. They just hold the ball, So it is what it is there. I'm obviously going to take the number 1 ranked. I don't want to say the number 1 team in Class 1 because I've said multiple times I think Green City's the number 1 team. The number 1 ranked currently team in Class 1, Chadwick Cardinals, should get this one done at home against Hartville on Friday night. Faith Christian versus Kingsville as we wrap up Class 1. I think Faith Christian wins this one at home. They're receiving votes in Class 1. 68.5 points per game. They're allowing 51.9. Let's go ahead with the Class 2 scoreboard. We'll start with Glasgow and Blair Oaks. We've got 3 games happening tonight. Those first 3 that you see. Rich Hill and Lockwood is tomorrow. Eugene and JC on Thursday. And Blue Eye and Purdy on Friday. So, the 3 games for tonight. Glasgow versus Blair Oaks. I think Blair Oaks will win this one on the road. I liked how Glasgow played when they were up against Sturgeon. But then that second time around that I got to see them, when they're playing Pilot Grove in that Slater Wildcat Classic, I don't know. Something was off that night. They just didn't seem as good. I think Blair Oaks will win this one on the road. They're receiving votes in Class 4, 59.9 points per game, allowing 49.6. As I said about Norwood, they're the number 1 team in Class 2. They're hosting Fordland tonight. 69.6 points per game, allowing 48.3. Give me the Pirates sitting at 18-2. I believe they will move up to 19-2 tonight. Van Far versus Montgomery County will be our Class 2 game of the week. Montgomery County is ranked number 2 in Class 3. I believe Van Far is receiving votes in Class 2, if I'm not wrong. It's a really solid basketball team. I don't know if they'll be able to keep up with Montgomery County, though. Montgomery County scoring 70.8 points per game, allowing 40.5. Give me the Wildcats. Rich Hill versus Lockwood. Rich Hill's a really solid basketball team. They're receiving votes in Class 2, scoring 59.2 points per game, allowing 44. Give me the Tigers at home. JC is being hosted by Eugene. Eugene's a really good basketball team. They're 16-3, but I don't think they'll be able to keep up with the 10th ranked Class 5 team, JC. Let's see, 64.9 points per game, allowing 58.7. Give me the Jays. Blue Eye versus Purdy. I'm going to take a road team here as well. Purdy's 62.2 points per game, allowing 57.8. This series is actually tied 6-6 since 2013. I think Purdy will be able to cross that line, go 7-6 since 2013. So give me the Eagles. Class 3 scoreboard. So I did a vote over on Instagram for where I was going tonight. Fairgrove and Stratford was the other one. As I said earlier, I'll be at Richmond and Lafayette County. They ended up winning that vote. So Fairgrove and Stratford, this is a massive rivalry. I was at their football game back in, I think the start of November. No, playoffs would have been in November. So end of October, I guess it would have been. And Fairgrove got that done. I think it gets flipped, though, here in basketball. Give me Stratford. They're 5th in Class 4. That's really impressive right now. Class 4 is looking really good this year. 61.9 points per game, 51.4 points allowed. Give me the Indians on the road. Valley Catholic versus Park Hill Central. Forgot to mention Fairgrove and Stratford, the only one for Class 3 that I'm mentioning for tonight. Valley Catholic and Park Hill Central is Thursday night. And then the other 4 are all Friday night games. So, as I said, Valley and Park Hill Central tonight. I think that Park Hill Central can win this one on the road. They're scoring 57.2 points per game, allowing 56.5. They are 10-0 versus Valley Catholic since 2014. Make that 11. Bishop LeBlond hosting Savannah. This is a big one. I'm going to make this the Class 3 game of the week. Savannah is 8-8, but they're playing in a higher class. They've got some really good competition. And Bishop LeBlond is 19-1. They're dominating their competition right now. They're 5th in Class 3, scoring 58.7 points per game, allowing 44.5. Give me the Eagles at home. Monroe City versus Bowling Green. I almost predicted Monroe City versus South Shelby, but then I decided to go with a different South Shelby team so I could feature 2 separate games that are going to be really good and still talk about both of those teams. So I think Monroe City can beat Bowling Green at home. Bowling Green's got a really good basketball team. Shout out to Jace Eskew. He just committed to Columbia College. He plays for Bowling Green. I think Monroe City can win this one, though. They're 8th in Class 3. They've got that home court advantage, scoring 61.4 points per game, allowing 46.4. Give me the Panthers. Dixon versus Licking. I think Licking can win this one on the road. They didn't have a good showing against Thayer this past week, but I'm not completely out on the Wildcats quite yet. I think they can get it done on the road. 70.4 points per game. I really like that. They're allowing 60.1 a game. That's kind of what's scaring me. The defense probably needs some work here if they want to go far, but I think a game against Dixon here on Friday night on the road, it could be good for them. So give me the Licking Wildcats. South Shelby versus Palmyra as we end off this video. Palmyra is receiving votes in Class 3. I feel like they're better than just receiving votes. I feel like this is a top 10 team, but Class 3s are really good classes here. So I think that's kind of why they're sitting out. I guess so. They're the first in receiving votes. So technically Palmyra is number 11 in Class 3. They're being hosted by South Shelby, but I don't know if the Cardinals really have that firepower to keep up with the Panthers. Palmyra is scoring 61.7 points per game and allowing 51.1. Give me the Panthers on the road. So tomorrow you will see Richmond versus Lafayette County highlights. And Thursday you will see predictions for large school. And then I'll be at Centralia Wrestling that night. Friday morning or Friday evening you will see Centralia Wrestling highlights. Friday, don't know where I'm going. And then Saturday morning, you'll see basketball highlights. So that's what we've got on the agenda as we get a lot closer to the playoffs. I believe it starts February 24th is when the small schools start. Class 1, 2, and 3, obviously. That's kind of how I split this video. So classes 1 through 3, they start districts a week before 4, 5, and 6. So it kind of makes it easy for me. So I'm really excited for the playoffs starting in 20 days. 20 days, all right? This has been Missouri Sports Talk. See you next time.